Croce Plays Croce, 50th anniversary. As of our chat, it's starting pretty soon on October 27th, but here in Eau Claire, it's going to be April 10th. Pablo Center at the Confluence. By chance, I happened to actually be at that place yesterday for a concert, and it is a gorgeous place. You are really going to love it when you come here come springtime. I made a point to listen through all of your father's albums late last week as I was prepping for the interview. And I know the singles, but I've never listened through the full albums. Is there a song on those, wasn't either a single or maybe a well-known song, that you wish got more focus and attention from the public?
It's interesting you asked that. Tomorrow's going to be a brighter day, I always thought was such a great song. And it just has a great groove to it. I think Box Number 10 is another one that always really moved me, and is lesser known. Lover's Cross is another beautiful song, and some of these I get requests for even more than some of the hits, like Lover's Cross and Alabama Rain and things like that have really become very personal to the audience.
And listening through the three, and even in that short period of time of recording over the course of about probably, I'm going to guess, a year and a half in the actual studios, the growth in terms of both the arrangements, the tech, all of that, it comes right through in a short period of time. Here's the $64 million question, to use the cliche. How do you think his artistry would have evolved over the decades? And maybe not necessarily to 2023, though we can go that far. How would it have evolved? What would have been next? We had the disco album, they could have been stuff like that. But what?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, what would have come? How would it have gone?
Pop album.
Yeah.
How do we know? What we have is what we know. And that's kind of the beauty of it, we can think about that way about our friends who left us and family and the people we love who didn't get to live longer. But in the end, it's what they lived, not what they didn't live. And I think that's the amazing part of what he left. This amazing legacy of music that's stood the test of, the last 50 years,
I often will ask people that are doing like tribute acts. They're the ones who really, really study a given singer, player, because they have to literally impersonate that person on stage. So they really study it really well.
Yeah.
But you're a Croce. If anyone's gonna know because of literally genetics, it's gonna be you. How could you describe his singing style best as possible, where you kind of have to be related?
Well, here's the thing. I'll tell you this. I don't try and sound like him. It's not a cover band in the sense that if all we did was his music in a night, I don't think I would feel inspired. I came from a background of jazz and blues and R&B and soul music, very improvisational stuff, and rock and roll, where improvisation was a huge part of it. And so if I came on stage and had to play the songs exactly, every song like the record, I'd be bored stiff. So first of all, it's not about trying to copy him at all. It's about respecting his music. There are some songs where I don't have a choice but to sound like him because I'm singing those songs, and there's certain keys where we sound really similar, and there's other keys we don't. My voice is a little bit deeper, a little bit less nasal, slightly more raspy. He had a really amazing tenor, and a completely unique voice that was really special.
How did you find the songs that I saw in the list? It's your material, his material, and then other songs that provide that connection. That strikes me as the most fascinating one. How did you find those?
Kind of the best stuff. In a way, it's the most unique each night. It's the stuff that can change because he only has so many songs. I have 30 years of recording to draw from. I really just sort of pepper in a few things of mine, things that, were successful or that, people might know or like. But the other music is so much fun because it was part of my dad's record collection. It was music that I grew up listening to even more than his music. Ray Charles and it could be Mississippi John Hurt, or it could be a song by Sam Cooke or Otis Redding or Ray Charles or Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, or any number of artists, 1,000 artists, thousands of songs that I can draw from. And some of these songs were things that he performed as well. And so it really tells a story, because that's the other part of this, is I'm telling stories about where these songs came from and the connection between them. So it's not just a random pick of songs. Every night is unique in that way.
So for your material to incorporate, how do you determine from all of the music that you've written, you've recorded, that marries best with the effect of this presentation?
So it's based on how it ties together. So, for example, there's a couple songs that I wrote with his contemporaries. One, I wrote a lot with Leon Russell over the years, and because Leon and my father were contemporaries, and I think those things they kind of connect in a unique way stylistically. Also, Alan Toussaint, who's an artist that I've worked with, who my father used to cover. He used to cover Working in a Coal Mine and all these Lee Dorsey or Irma Thomas songs, and so that's something that makes sense. A song by Sam Cooke, who my father covered every night until the very end of his life, were really important to him. And so playing a song by Sam Cooke and telling the story of my connection through tours with Ray Charles and Floyd Dixon and B.B. King and these artists that were close to Sam Cooke, and Aretha, of course, who were really close to him, really ties this together in a unique way.
This should be a really great show. April 10th of next year in Eau Claire, Pablo Center at the Confluence, starting Friday, October 27th. Croce Plays Croce 50th anniversary, and anyone listening to this, like I said before, I'd recommend give a discography listen, both your father and yourself. Listen to all of that music, and you'll be ready to go. AJ, thanks for going on the tour today and chatting about this, and we're looking forward to all these shows coming up in the coming weeks and months.
Thank you so much.